Welcome to the first segment ever of Baking with Beck. That's me. So today we're baking / cooking pudding. So I decided to make homemade pudding. It's a super easy recipe, and so I decided that would be the perfect thing to start off with. I'm gonna make chocolate pudding because that was my favorite when I was growing up. And so I'm gonna see if I can recreate that, but with a lot less products. So here's everything you're gonna need to make this pudding. You're gonna need some sugar, milk, cornstarch, cocoa powder. Has to be cocoa powder. Very important that it's cocoa powder. Do not use Nesquik. If anyone tells you to use Nesquik, take away their spatula. They have no right being in a kitchen. Has to be 100% cocoa. You can use cacao. Cacao will be a lot more bitter, but as long as it's 100%.
Always keeping it 100.
You're gonna need a glass bowl to put your mixture in. You're gonna need a pitcher to measure. These are my mason jars. They're the ball ones. They're super inexpensive if you know where to get them. I got them at my local Winn-Dixie. I would urge you to check out Winn-Dixie because they have a really good selection. If you don't have a Winn-Dixie in your area, I mean, I'm sure they're sold everywhere. If not, Amazon. Amazon is the answer. So these are super cute, and I thought they were perfect when I saw them for my pudding, so I decided to pick them up. Aren't they adorable? And then for your utensils, you're gonna need a whisk in order to stir your mixture. You're gonna need a ladle in order to spoon your mixture out and put it into your mason jars. I've got all these right here for my measuring in order to put my flavors. And then of course I have my spatula, which is what you're gonna use as you're cooking your mixture, just so that you can get all the mixture in the sides. And it also makes it super easy for stirring. You can still use your whisk, it's just totally up to you. I decided to transfer just because I want to make sure I have that consistent stir, and then I'm grabbing everything at the bottom of my pot. So I also got these as well. These are just as perfect. They're just a little taller than the smaller ones I have, but you can also find them at any grocery store, and they're also really not that bad in price. This one was $5.99. It comes with 4. This came with a pack of 12 and it was $9.99, so it's really not that bad. And they're airtight. You can write labels on them, and they're gonna keep your stuff nice and safe. So let's get started. So instead of using the big one, we're actually using the small one because the small one has the 1/3. So continuing on, we're gonna do 1/3 cup of sugar. Next, you're gonna add is your 3 tablespoons of cornstarch. You can use other things to thicken up your pudding. However, cornstarch really does work the best. If you're going to use something else, just make sure you double up the recipe of whatever you're using. So like for instance, if you're gonna use something like arrowroot powder or flour, you're gonna wanna make sure you use twice as much just to compensate for how strong the cornstarch is. And then to that, we're gonna go ahead and also add 3 tablespoons of our cacao powder. Okay. It's like opening up a Christmas gift. Ooh. So we're gonna add 3 tablespoons of your cacao powder, or cocoa, whichever one you'd like to say. In all baking, you have to have just a little salt for that nice little contrast. And I literally just did like half a teaspoon, so like just a pinch. It really doesn't need that much. So now that our mixture is all together, we're gonna go ahead and whisk it now to make sure that we get rid of all those lumps, because we don't want any of that to show up in our pudding as we cook it. Also, you probably noticed my mixture did double in size. I'm making a big pot of this, so I just went ahead and doubled the ingredients. Now that our mixture is semi put together, we're gonna go ahead and slowly add 2 cups of almond milk, or whatever milk of your choice. If you'd like your pudding to be a lot more richer, you can add regular whole milk, or you can go ahead and add non-fat milk if you're looking for a nice low-fat pudding. So you add your mixture slowly because you want to go ahead and make sure you're incorporating it so that you make sure you don't get any of those clumps. So as you can see, all the clumps are gone, and you see a nice, beautiful, and smooth pudding mixture. Beautiful, smooth pudding mixture. The cocoa powder is definitely a lot harder to mix than your standard vanilla, so I would just go ahead and, you know, try and give it a little extra love with the whisking, just until you see that beautiful, perfect smoothness. And you'll just have your bubbles left, but for the most part it'll be like perfect and ready for you to go ahead and cook. So we're gonna go ahead and put this on the stove, and I'll meet you guys there. So you're gonna go ahead and add your mixture into a big pot. I don't want to spill. And we're gonna go ahead and put that mixture on the stove, and we're gonna cook this on medium heat for about 5 to 10 minutes, all while constantly stirring because we don't want our pudding to burn. So it might take a little longer to cook, and that's okay. And how you know your pudding is done is that it's going to thicken up beautifully, and you'll be able to make little ribbons. Oh, there we go. Got scared there for a second. I was like, don't make me look bad. Okay. Got our beautiful little ribbons. See? Like that. Once you can draw with your pudding, then it basically means it's time to take it over the stove. You also don't want to overcook it, so that's important to remember. Once this is done, we're going to go ahead and take it off the heat, and then that's when we're going to add our vanilla flavor, which is totally optional. So to this, I'm going to go ahead and add 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. And the reason why we add it off the heat is that we want to keep that nice vanilla flavor, and we don't want it to burn and cook. And now we're going to have it sit for about 10 minutes just to continue cooling off, so that we can go ahead and put it in our mason jars and then set it in the fridge. Alright, so now that we've had our mixture cooling, it looks beautiful. And I also want to mention that there is something called pudding skin, and to avoid pudding skin, as your pudding is cooling for those 10 minutes, please make sure that you stir it. If it ends up getting that skin, it's totally okay. You just go ahead and give the pudding a stir, and you'll start to see that skin go away and eventually melt back into your pudding, and you're good to go. So what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to start ladling this delicious pudding into our little cups. So once you've ladled your beautiful chocolate pudding into your cups, you're going to go ahead and lid them, and you're going to place them in the fridge, and we're going to have them set for about 3 hours or overnight. What are you doing here, man?
3 hours later.
Okay, so it's been about 3 hours. I'm going to go ahead, open this up, and show you guys the final product. You can see the pudding has set. It did get a little bit of that pudding skin that I was warning you guys about, but for the most part, it's that beautiful consistency that you look for when you see pudding. And if you just give it a nice little turn, you'll start to see all that pesky skin go away. And that's exactly what you look for when you're making pudding. I'm so proud of myself. It came out amazing. Like it tastes like the old pudding snacks that I used to get, but so much better. Like when you make something yourself and you just kind of, you're there from like beginning to end. You get to, not only pick like what's in it, you know what's in it, but it tastes so much fresher, and the chocolate is so much richer, and it's it's beautiful. It's delicious. Like, you gotta like make this yourself, because this is just, and it didn't take that long. Like, it can be a bit of a process when you're first starting out, but once you just get that recipe like down packed, and you know the whole process of it, it'll be so much quicker, and it's just so much worth it. Putting it in an airtight container, this would last for about 5 days to about a week. And there's so many different ways that you can have it. You can top it with whipped cream. You can put some nice granola on it. You can put some additional chocolate chips. There's just so many things that you can add. You can make a parfait. That's a good idea. Anyways, but there's just so many things you can do. And if you do make this recipe, please let me know. I would love to see photos. I would love to know what you do with it. It came out so good, and I'm just so excited, and I would love to know if anyone does this recipe, because I mean, it's just so simple, and it's just the product, the end finish of it is beautiful. So proud. So thank you guys so much for joining me for my first ever baking with Beck. I'm so excited to continue this segment and to just do so many different things. Like I said before, if you do make this recipe, please let me know. I'll have a full list of the recipe, the measurements, everything down below. So be sure to leave me a comment. If you have any questions, I'd love to answer any questions, see if I can help you as best as possible. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the little bell next to it, so you'll see every time I put out a new video. And of course, thank you so much for watching. See you guys next time. See ya.